Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. All protocol observed. Pengine mimi sitoenda mbali sana. I want to appreciate this meeting, Your Excellency. Now, on behalf of governors and the people of Kwale, let me speak on behalf of people of Kwale. Your Excellency, pengine ni kutoe wasiwasi. Tumekuwa tupigi makelele, lakini kazi inafanyika Kwale. And that is why we have a rehabilitation center in Kwale. Now, currently in the rehabilitation center, when you wanachukua methadone, we have around 1,000 clients kwa methadone. Na katika rehab, we have inpatient 25 na around 60 ambao ni outpatients. Lakini katika vita dhidi ya mihadarati and drug abuse, nafikiri IG amegusa pale ambapo panafaa patibiwe, ambayo ni enforcement officers. For as much as we have a rehabilitation center, for as much as tutapeana methadone, lakini wakati dawa zinaendeleza kusambazwa na enforcement officers are not taking action, bado tutakuwa tunafanya zero work. So, na viongozi, kama viongozi tumechaguliwa, na in fact devolution imekuja ili ilete unafuu kule ground. And my government, tumejaribu, tumetengeneza rehabilitation center. Na mbali na hiyo, wale vijana ambao wamekuwa wakichukua madawa, tumehakikisha zile polytechnics tunaendelea kuzijenga vizuri na kuziweka equipment so that after wakichukua dawa na wanaenda kuwa trained, wanakuwa equipped na skills. Wakipata skills wanapata opportunity ya kufanya makazi. And I want to appreciate Madam Dorcas Gachagua came to my county. Na all these issues ambazo tuko nazo tulizungumza na yeye. Na pia ni washukuru wabunge from my county. Kila mtu amejaribu kwa uwezo wake. Hii holiday karibu kila constituency vijana wamekuwa engaged kupitia zile michezo za mpira na michezo zingine zote. Na vile vile pia ili our youths wasiengage katika masuala ya mihadarati, ni lazima tuhakikishe wako mashule. County government of Kwale imeweka 500 million ya kusomesha mtoto. That is why kila mwanafunzi arudi shule. Lakini sasa hivi mbali na vita za mihadarati, kuna hawa juvenile. Kuna hizi sasa cases ambazo zimetoka Mombasa, zimeingia Kwale. Unfortunately, hatujaona cases hizi zikiwa prosecuted. Mbali na kuwa sasa hivi zimekuwa tisho, saizi hata kufanya maharusi in some areas inakuwa problem. So, IG, it's not about licensing. Hii kupeana licenses ni kazi ndogo. Lakini let enforcement officers do their work. When nimejenga rehabilitation center, some meters away, wameka deni hapo ya mangwe. Enforcement officers wako hapo kombani, but they can't do anything. Kama watawaacha wawe hivyo, wanachukua methadone, wanarudi wanaingia tena kukula bangi. In fact, we lost a client juzi, last week, because anachukua dawa na bado anarudi kwa mihadarati. Lakini enforcement officers wako wapi? So IG, in my county, major problem ni enforcement officers. Wakifanya kazi yao, na sisi kama viongozi tufanye kazi yetu, hii kazi itakuwa rahisi sana. And because they know the hotspots, I would think enforcement officers wako katika zile hotspots. And nakada, for as much as you've mentioned about the hotspots, sidhani kama you've captured the right hotspots. So nakada pia, tusikule tu mshahara na kusema nakada we are there. Come to the ground. See what is happening on the ground. Si ile tu kuja na kusema sijui Lukore, hata nimemwangalia mheshimiwa Tandaza akawa surprised kwa some of the areas ambazo zimetajwa hapa, they're not the real areas ambazo ziko na issues. So even for nakada, I want you to calm down. see what is happening, the real issues. Tusiandike kwa karatasi tukazungumza kwa conferences ili hali the major problems are there. So mimi tu Mheshimiwa Naibu Rais, nataka nikuhakikishie kama governor wa jimbo la Kwale tuko imara. Tunapigana vita, pengine sisi si watu wa kupiga kelele sana, plus my MPs and all the leaders, but we work very closely kupigana vita na miadarati. Sijasema police officers hawafanyi kazi yao, lakini wazidishe nguvu zaidi ili tuangamize janga hili. Thank you very much.
Asante sana Governor. Governor Taita Taveta.
Your Excellency, Deputy President of Kenya, I recognize the protocol earlier on recognized. Your Excellency, your candid talk and IG, your candid talk is in the right direction. Right now, our Deputy President, we are doing a lot of work on the same. Though tunafanya ni kwa sababu mengine tunafanya chini chini. But we are doing a lot. As I'm talking right now, in my sub-county hospital vessel, we are trying to do rehabilitation. Despite Taita Taveta County, over 62% of our land has been taken by National Park. We are not getting any revenue. And at the same time, we are among the last 6 counties getting the lowest equitable share. And at the same time, Deputy President, Taita Taveta, the injustices done by the previous governments from 1964 to 2013 before devolution, no industry invested in Taita Taveta. We are already negotiating with the different stakeholders so that our youth, because we don't have any industry in Taita Taveta, and we are developing them right now. We are negotiating with different stakeholders like APZ in different, so that we can engage our youth. And we are also trying in all directions to talk to our young men. Also with our security in Taita Taveta. We regularly talk about this issue, about it, because actually drugs and alcohol, especially alcohol, mbangara, is a really menace to Taita Taveta. Our youth are in tatters, they're in bad condition. I wish this talk was done before. IG, what you have said over here, I'm sure it's an eye-opener. But there is always a beginning. Let's work as all stakeholders in this problem. Some of these meetings, you always make them here in Mombasa. You don't make these meetings in Taita. You should send some of these meetings in Taita so that they can spread all over, because I'm sure Mombasa people, they're more here than any other county. We should bring them to Taita so that we can also spread the message properly, because some counties, you know, as if I don't know what happened, we don't see some of you, our Deputy President. In fact, I'm welcoming you to Taita Taveta. I will hide, because the talk you have said over here, for sure, Mheshimiwa Deputy President, umeongea vizuri sana. Na tunaongea sana haya maswala ya pombe, maswala ya drugs, kwa sababu even right now, you go to our nurseries, it's serious. You'll find a school just 3 years back, it used to have about 40 students. Like right now, unakuta wako watoto wawili, watatu, wanne. Even we feel threatened. So, Mheshimiwa Deputy President, tuko na wewe, and we are supporting this, and let's work together. Hata ikiwezekana, county by county, fungueni polisi wote, ama hata ikiwezekana na GSU na wengine wana act county ya Taita leo na kesho Mombasa, kesho kutwa Kilifi, na ikiwezekana hawa ambao wanapatikana wanakunywa hizo wapigwe viboko hadharani na wapatio kazi ya kufagia, so that kila mtu aone. Otherwise yangu sio mengi. Asante sana kwa huu mkutano, Deputy President.
Thank you, Governor. Watu wachapwe viboko. Now, allow me to invite my Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Professor Kindiki, to take over from there.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, and all the other colleagues present, clergy, and all officers of government, I'll say a few things and then allow my colleagues also to weigh in so that we can move towards the plenary where our leaders who have not spoken and the other participants can also give us their input on this very important matter. Your Excellency, the problem of drugs, substance abuse is a national security matter. I do know there are some public health concerns, social concerns, economic concerns on the impacts of this problem to our country. But the entry point for this discussion should be our national security and the survival of the country in the years to come. And therefore, for us in the Interior Ministry, we consider those who are selling drugs, transporting drugs, those who are manufacturing illicit alcohol, as well as public officials who are enabling the purveyors of drugs and illicit alcohol to thrive. We consider the category of everybody that I've mentioned in that chain as enemies of Kenya. We consider them as participants in organized crime, and therefore we have placed them on the same category where we have placed terrorists, extremists, and bandits. There is no difference. What terrorists are doing to our country, the harm that other organized criminals are doing to our country, including bandits, is the same harm that those who are manufacturing, transporting, selling, distributing, and encouraging drugs and alcohol are doing to our country. So, what are we doing? First, will go hard on them. Even as we wait for the other interventions that are critically important for the sustainability of this war, we'll go hard the same way we've gone hard on terrorism and on violent extremism. Very hard. I see no reason, even as we look at our legislation, why we should not borrow the current legislation on the fight against terror to fight drugs and the organized crime that is around drugs. I see no reason whatsoever. Your Excellency, the Director of Public Prosecutions did highlight here things which are already in our law, which we should be implementing. And again, I see no reason why we are not implementing. The destruction of drugs before they can be interfered with or reused, as has been the case in Kirinyaga recently, I see no reason why anything that is a motor vehicle which has been used to transport drugs should not be forfeited. I see no reason why a building which has been used to store narcotics and illicit alcohol should not be confiscated, forfeited to the state. Therefore, asset recovery, forfeiture, and harsh punishments, even if it includes enhancing the already existing law, will go a long way in the hard solutions to this problem. Excellency, we have a law enforcement problem in the country. Let us face it, now that we have said today is the day of speaking the truth. Excellency, we have officers from various agencies who are dealing with law enforcement, who are doing a commendable job across the country. I've been able to visit many parts of Kenya. I can attest to you without fear of contradiction. We have police officers, we have Ngao officers, we have all manner of officers, including public prosecutors, who are doing a great job for this country, and they need to be applauded. But we also have a group of officers, Your Excellency, and public officials who have decided to benefit from the death of the nation. And therefore, they are presiding over a systematic and gradual death of this and current generation. And these are police officers, for example, Ngao officers, public prosecution officials who are taking bribes from drug barons and those who are transporting drugs so that the law doesn't catch up with them. So we have a problem. And this is the solution. The solution is that for us in national security, we cannot afford a day extra in talking about what we need to do when we know what we need to do. For example, there are all these tensions between agencies and the two levels of government, including national government and county governments. We have no quarrel with the departmental jurisdictions of agencies or even the functional mandates of county governments vis-a-vis national government. But we want to remind the country that national security is not a devolved function. And therefore, anything that threatens national security, we will go out of our way to prevent further harm, and we will not wait for the discussions around whether this falls under this level of government or this other level of government. I was in Kirinyaga, Your Excellency, a day before you went there for the mass burial of 17 Kenyans who died from one village because poison was sold to them. And this poison had actually been, it was an exhibit which was supposed to be used in court. Police officers in the local police station sold that exhibit to the person who used that exhibit to kill 17 people. I want to thank the Inspector General of Police and the service commanders, because every time the government has requested the National Police Service to make decisions on rowdy and patriotic and criminal officers, the Inspector General of Police and the service commanders have cooperated fully, and they have not come back to us flagging the independence that institutions like flagging around when they want to undermine the national interest. I am grateful, IG Kome, because those officers who sold those exhibits were sacked on the same day and they were charged with murder. They are in court. They are going to face the crime, or they are going to face charges of the offense of murder. And you see that example of 17 people from one village lying in caskets on the same day. What is the difference between that and what terrorists do? In some parts of our country, it's the same thing, isn't it? And therefore, for us, this discussion is not even about departmental and agency tough wars. It is beyond county and national government discussions around mandates. And so we will not wait to ask who has licensed what. Once we discover certain outlets, buildings, facilities are threatening the survival of the nation, we shut them up, we shut them down. We will be able to discuss these other things about licensing later on. Because we cannot allow a murderer to continue murdering Kenyans because they are licensed by whatever agency or whatever level of government. We are going to change the country's transfer policy. Any official in the law enforcement and public service space who, through action or inaction, contributes to the death of Kenyans, through negligence, they allow dangerous criminals, organized criminals, including drug barons, to have their way to access the public. That officer will not be transferred, as you've said, Your Excellency, elsewhere, because every inch of our territory requires efficient services and the protection of its national security organs. So you mess up in your area of jurisdiction, we will see what to do with you. And I like what the Inspector General of Police said. You know, we are a country with so many procedures about very many things. How to sack somebody, how to do what to somebody. And there are officers who are misusing some of these procedures. And some agencies of government, including courts, are even supporting. We had a case in Naivasha where somebody